Hey everybody, we're back for part 3 of Let's Talk About Black Panther. I'm Lila,
I'm Stelios.
and we're gonna throw it out real quick here at the beginning of the video. You should have watched part 1 and part 2 first. If you have not, go watch them, go listen. Also, this video is going to be chock full of spoilers about the Black Panther movie, so if you have not seen the movie yet, first of all, why? Pause this right now and go see the movie. Damn. Go see it twice.
And buy merchandise.
Yes, merchandise. So, we left off part 2 talking about the different characters. We talked about the female characters that were surrounding and supporting T'Challa and his crazy action story we had going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to forget about talking about some of the awesome, cool characters in this that happened to be male. Let's talk about W'Kabi. W'Kabi was an interesting character to me. He's one of the border tribe, which is the group that basically runs the tourist trap shit on the borders of Wakanda. So people think that they're just a bunch of poor farmers and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, they're not. So it's like running the gift shop.
Yes, W'Kabi runs the gift shop.
W'Kabi is kind of portrayed to us at first as one of T'Challa's good close friends. Someone he grew up with, someone he trusts. He is also Okoye's boyfriend?
Lover.
Husband. Not entirely sure what the depth of their relationship is, but they call each other my love. Which is real sweet. But W'Kabi had an important point where he had this massive desire to see Ulysses Claw brought to justice. Because years earlier, in Claw's heist of vibranium from Wakanda, both of W'Kabi's parents died in that attack, and the bombs that Claw set off.
Yeah. So he has a pretty significant amount of motivation to see Claw brought to justice, which comes into play when Killmonger is introduced to the Wakandans in the main story.
Mm-hmm. And so when T'Challa fails to bring Claw back
from Korea,
he's disappointed and he's frustrated. And personally, I think he was jumping the gun a bit. Like, this dude's been in office like for a week or two. Damn, like, give him a chance to try again. Maybe Claw is one of those dudes that's super hard to track down, and he only pops up once every 10 years or so, and it's like, you missed your chance. If that was really the case, maybe that kind of ended up cut out, because apparently they cut a lot out of the movie.
Yeah.
But either way, it was an important source of internal friction. It was showing that not all the people in Wakanda agree with each other, and it's not this happy-go-lucky utopia. Like, there is issues and there's disagreements among them, and they've got different opinions on how things should be run and what they should do. And the thing about W'Kabi is when Killmonger shows up with Claw's body basically wrapped up like a present, he finds himself on the cusp of needing to make a decision.
I think when he saw that Killmonger was able to kill Claw and bring him to Wakanda, he saw in Killmonger a guy that gets stuff done.
Someone he can get behind.
You know, so it wasn't hard for him to fall into Killmonger's camp, if you will.
And that's bullshit in a way, because Killmonger basically manipulated him into that. I mean, W'Kabi didn't know that the only reason T'Challa didn't bring Claw home was because Eric Killmonger snatched him out from under the CIA's nose.
That's true.
So it was a scam from the beginning. It's not really W'Kabi's fault. But it doesn't matter what his intentions were. It doesn't matter what your intentions are, good or bad. If your results of your decisions are bad, that's what matters. And W'Kabi is going to be having some impact of his decisions. He betrayed his king in a way. He betrayed his country in a bit of a way. I mean, he was trying to do what he thought was right and needed to be done.
Right.
But I have a feeling he and Okoye are done.
Yeah.
She's more than a little mad at him, and I have a feeling being told that she would kill him for Wakanda without hesitation. That that is some of the shit you don't work out with a couple of couples therapy sessions.
No.
Neither is charging rhinos, which was awesome. The fact that he had armored rhinos on standby was kind of crazy.
That was pretty cool.
That was so cool. Oh, and I know for a fact that the armored rhino is an action figure available.
Is it?
Yeah. There's an action figure set, and one of the figures is the armored rhino. It's not the same armor that's in the movie, because, you know, merchandising, but it's there. It's part of a set. So, I think my favorite male character was M'Baku.
Yeah?
M'Baku. In the comic book, his original name was Man-Ape.
Yeah, I can see why they changed that.
That was a tasteful change to make, but he's the leader of the white gorilla cult.
And the Jabari tribe.
Jabari tribe. Big dudes. Oh,
Big
man.
dudes.
Bullshit. They are not vegetarian. You don't get big like that eating vegan. I don't believe you no matter what your Instagram says.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh, and he was so funny. Just because everyone is being so serious and so dramatic, and he's just like, please, are you done? This is crap. I'm so tired of your crap.
M'Baku was an interesting character because, you know, when he's first introduced, you think of him as the guy who's going to be the villain of the story.
Mm-hmm. He's a false antagonist.
You know, he shows up, you know, to challenge T'Challa for the throne on Challenge Day, and they fight, and, you know, he ends up yielding.
Yeah. It was a pretty close fight, though.
Yeah.
That was some great choreography fighting there. Like, T'Challa was so out of his weight class.
The thing about those particular fights is they didn't look like, you know, kung fu fighting.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they didn't really look like, you know, actual, like, brutal fighting. But they told the line between realistic combat and, you know, film combat. Like,
yeah.
These dudes weren't doing, like, crazy flips or anything like that. They were in there brawling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And M'Baku's a big dude, and he fought like a big dude.
Yeah, and that almost lost T'Challa the fight.
Yeah, because he was definitely stronger than T'Challa. But one of the things that you learn about M'Baku later in the movie is that he does have a set of principles.
Yeah, he sticks to them.
Because after Killmonger throws T'Challa over the waterfall, one of the Jabari tribesmen finds T'Challa's body, and they bring him to M'Baku, and M'Baku puts him in snow to keep him alive.
We're just gonna stick him on ice for a bit. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
And, you know, he could have killed him if he wanted to, but, you know, he said, I owed you a great debt, a life for a life. And Shuri, Queen Mother Ramonda, and Nakia, and the agent, what's his name?
Agent Ross.
Agent Ross all show up at the Gorilla Mountain, and they offer M'Baku the heart-shaped herb. Now, if you know what the heart-shaped herb is, and you better, because if you're watching this video, you should have seen this movie. You know,
it's the shiny, glowy superpower flower.
Yeah. You know, they offered it to him, and he didn't take it.
You know, looking at his face, I don't think he was even that tempted.
No.
I think he looked at it and went, ugh, great. Okay, come on, I got something to show you.
Yeah,
it's like they offered him this power, and he didn't want it. Because I don't think he feels that Wakanda was making very good decisions, and he didn't want to be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, originally he didn't even want to give T'Challa his army. He was
yeah.
like, no.
I know you can, but no. Oh, man. That was such a great character. And I love that big stick that he was just nailing dudes with.
Yeah.
That was so cool. He ended up being the potential antagonist that turned around and became an anti-hero ally.
He was Vegeta.
Yeah, he totally Vegeta'd it. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about T'Challa or do you want to talk about Killmonger? Let's talk about T'Challa.
Yeah, let's talk about T'Challa.
Let's talk about T'Challa. A very solid character arc. The thing with T'Challa's character arc in this movie is it was less facing his own issues and it was more dealing with inheriting the sins of the father, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And it's not that T'Challa didn't make mistakes, he did, but most of this for him was that realization and that acceptance that his father was not perfect. His father made mistakes, and some of them were grievous mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is an important step for everybody as they reach adulthood, is the realization that your parents are people. They're people who make mistakes and have their own issues and baggage, and that doesn't mean that you should love them less. But it means they're people, and sometimes you can step away from your parents' baggage, but in T'Challa's case, he inherited it, because there's no easiness to the head that the crown rests on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of responsibility, and he had a lot of people to take care of. And his father, T'Chaka, was trying to do the right thing for his people, but it wasn't the right choice in the long term.
I think when he found out about what his father did, he realized that for the longest time, Wakanda has been wrong.
They have been wrong. And I don't think T'Chaka did the wrong thing in killing his brother. I mean, that was a sad thing that happened. And it was an incident that played out wrong. It was one of those moments where you just react, and what happened happened.
Yeah, because he killed his brother to save Zuri.
Yeah, because his brother tried to pull a gun on Zuri.
Yeah.
And he just reacted.
Yeah.
And it was so sad.
The whole thing is sad, and it's a complex story.
It is.
And T'Challa basically has to deal with the fact that, you know, that there was some deception in his upbringing. You know, there was no great outside antagonist to fight at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a lot of the sources of their issues came from within, came
Mm-hmm.
from the omission of truth.
And his brother, Prince Njobu,
Mm-hmm.
brought that up because he had been stationed as a war dog spy in Oakland, California in the 1990s. Oakland was a rough place now. In the 90s?
Like this was 1992, so you know that was back when the crack craze kicked off.
Yeah, and he laid it out that these people are over policed and given drugs and guns with which to kill themselves and each other. And why is this happening when we can stop it? We can help these people. And that's pretty much the same message that Killmonger grew up bringing. Why did you leave us? Why didn't you help us?
You know, because Wakanda has the resources and they had the weapons to basically liberate these people, and they chose not to. Mm-hmm. And that goes all the way back to the beginnings of Wakanda. Wakanda could have stopped the transatlantic slave trade, but
Mm-hmm.
they didn't. They chose to hide. And that was their great sin, was them hiding from the world, and it was T'Challa that had to face that. And when you think about how far back history goes and all the things that have happened in Africa and to Africans that were taken from Africa, to know that you could have stopped it, or that your fathers and your forefathers could have stopped it and they chose not to, that's heavy shit.
It's very heavy shit, and that is a large chunk of what T'Challa was going through, was that his father was wrong. His ancestors were wrong. They were trying to make the right decision for the right reasons. But regardless of why they made the decision and what happened as a result of it, it's not the right decision anymore.
Right.
Because their choice to be isolationist, it even says that in the movie, I don't remember who says it, but they said that Eric Killmonger is a monster of our own creation. And he was.
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda, and T'Chaka specifically, was directly and indirectly the cause of Killmonger. They were indirectly the cause, because not only did they not step up to stop the transatlantic slave trade, but they didn't step up to help with any of the civil rights happening in the countries where it went, specifically in the United States. And so they knew. I mean, they knew about how horrible it was, about the oppression and the guns and the drugs and the systematic discrimination. So they knew. And then he turns around and he kills his own brother for whatever reasons. But then he leaves his nephew in that horrible environment. He leaves his own flesh and blood.
Yep.
He didn't need to do that. He could have brought the boy home. He could have raised Eric, whose Wakandan name I think was N'Jaka.
Mm-hmm.
He could have raised N'Jaka and T'Challa together as brothers. And it never would have happened. I mean, I'm sure there would have been a level of resentment of my father died, but you could make up a lie about how he was killed by someone else for some other reason. Kind of like the Thor Loki thing. And then I think Killmonger could have been like a Loki, but he wasn't. That's not what happened. That's not the decision that was made.
Speaking of Killmonger, I think it's high time we talked about that guy.
Oh my gosh, let's unpack that real quick. Killmonger, very angry man, and for very good reasons. After finding his father dead in the apartment and basically being abandoned, but he knows about Wakanda. He knows about this magical place, and he's cut off from it. So, you know, you said you think that he started on a path of vengeance from that age.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he went through high school, he got himself through an elite college, went right into the military.
Mm-hmm. This guy basically turned himself into a weapon.
He did. And that's all he knew how to do. Agent Ross said, of course he's doing these destructive things. It's what he was trained to do. It's the only thing he knows how to do. This boy has only known death and destruction his whole life. I mean, you knew this wasn't going to be a Vegeta-ing for him when he shot his girlfriend. There's a thing that scriptwriters and screenwriters and authors know of. It's called saving the cat. It's you have your protagonist do something minor but heroic to show that they are the good guy. Well, Killmonger did the opposite. With the second his girlfriend was leverage against him, he shot her dead in a blink of an eye. Didn't even hesitate.
Yep.
He shot that cat out of the tree and kept walking.
Yep.
He's an unredeemable villain. There wasn't going to be any anti-heroing for him.
You know, and at the same time, I can't really think of him as a villain as much as I could a lost soul, a misguided person.
Yeah.
Because his motivation for doing what he was doing, it comes from a righteous place.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's a very relevant place too.
Yeah, his whole thing was he wanted to arm oppressed peoples across the world. You know, and give them the weapons that they needed to rise up. Now, the whole idea of burning the world down and starting it over with Wakanda on top.
Good to be honest, I wouldn't want that man in charge of an empire.
No, that's a pretty heavy undertaking. And the thing is, when you build your empire on a pile of bodies, it's only a matter of time before the sons and daughters of those people come for you.
Mm-hmm. So
America knows that quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Because dads went to war in 2001. Now sons are going to war in 2018.
And daughters too, and they got all sorts of feelings about that.
Yeah. And who do you think they're fighting?
Same people.
The same people.
Well, the sons and daughters of the same people. But it's an important lesson.
It is.
And while it's sad that Killmonger had to die, he had to die. Like, that man was a loose cannon spitting all sorts of flame and terror. He had no long-term plan. He was just there to destroy. He destroyed the garden, which meant he didn't plan on having a successor.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe he also destroyed it to upset people and to make sure no one could fight against him, which didn't work out for him because of Nakia's quick thinking and roguish tendencies there. But, I mean, the mistake he made that showed me he had no long-term plans was he didn't immediately have the princess and the queen rounded up and detained. Because the inevitable resistance of the Wakandan people against him would rally around those two. And if T'Challa had actually died, then Princess Shuri would be the one with the next legitimate claim to the throne. And knowing Killmonger doesn't play fair, she would pull out her toys and find a way to smush him.
Absolutely.
But the lessons we learn from Killmonger and from Prince T'Challa, I think, is change will happen. And people make mistakes. I mean, if the plan seemed good before, it's still going to change. And the second the plan's not viable anymore, you need to change plans. You can't worship the plan. Our ancestors and our forefathers made the decisions they did for whatever reasons. It doesn't mean it was the right decision then, and it certainly doesn't mean it was the right decision for now. And if we can't reflect on that and change course, then we're doing ourselves. I mean, you can't isolate yourself. Helping people may open you to risk, but shutting yourself in is just as dangerous.
That's true. So, you got anything else?
Oh, tons and tons, but I think we're pretty much out of time.
Yeah, so at this point, we are going to stop running our mouths, and hopefully you will go and see this movie again, and you will buy the DVD, because I plan on buying the DVD.
Yeah, they cut so much out that I'm hoping there's a super long extended director's cut edition.
Yeah, because the original cut was apparently like 4 hours long.
Oh, I want to see that movie.
I want my whole movie.
Yeah. So if you like this video, please scroll down there and stomp on that like button. If you really, really liked it, hit the subscribe, hit the share, spread the love. If you have any questions that you want us to talk about, or other topics entirely you'd love to hear us going on about, hit us up. Leave a comment, send a message. We love mail, and we want to hear from you guys.
Until next time, bye.
Be good.